what's one thing that keeps you up at night?
Well, we have a lot of night classes in our university, so every now and then I have to take some calls regarding electric power that might have gone out, or something that has to do with water supply, and I have to take care of that immediately because we are doing, we have classes until 10 or 11 o'clock. So people from the day shift and the night shift to have the same service. So I have to take care of that immediately. Also, people living in-house, living residences, we need them to be operating. So if water goes out or electric power goes out, I need to take care of that immediately. So I might say that that's the main thing that might keep me up all night, just waiting for that call that might come at any time, because anything might happen. In a big campus, anything can happen. It's just like a city.
Facilities related. What is one thing that keeps you up at night?
Haha, what things could be up? Wait, okay, so I tell people it's a mouse. So, have you ever heard of transgenic mice? Transgenic mice are basically special mice that are bred for research. They're hairless, they're pink, about this long, cost about $1 million. So you imagine if a researcher has a project and he's got 20 years of research in that mouse, and I don't condition the facilities right, and the mouse dies. So now he's going to get upset and leave the campus, probably quit. And so then a research student also is doing his thesis on it. So now he has no researcher to back him on his research. So he's also in the wind. And so then they try to hire somebody to replace him, but all the people in that business know each other. So he calls his buddy and says, "Why did you leave?" "They killed my mouse." So that's what keeps me awake at night. So my responsibility is to make sure we condition the facilities, we have it maintained right, so we don't kill the mouse.
What keeps me up at night, I'll tell you, is that like most construction people, getting projects done and complete on time is the #1 challenge that we really face. And the importance to that is making sure that we've got very good supply chain vendors that work closely with us and to help the projects become successful and complete on time. And probably the biggest aspect of that is that you're really only as good as your weakest link in the construction industry. So at every step of the supply chain, we work very hard to make sure that every one of those key components is a real good, strong team player.
So what keeps me up at night about our facilities? I think I'm most concerned about, at the moment, I involve a lot of energy projects, and I'm concerned about how we can sustain our campus over a long period of time, because the cost of energy and the cost of running a campus, it translates into tuition to students. How can we bring those costs down, and how can we make sure our campus is run for a much longer period of time? That causes me a lot of concern. And so I'm always thinking about that and thinking about what are ways in which we can reduce costs so we can sustain the campus as a whole over time and provide good quality facilities for the students to learn in and for the faculty to research and education in.
Differentiation. That's what they talked about today, and trying to realize that the needs of everyone within your facility are different, and trying to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, trying to remember where they're coming from, whether it's the student, faculty member, faculty member, staff member, custodian, maintenance person, that differentiation is important, because everyone's story is different and everyone's needs are different.
Well, in my business, we finance energy upgrades, and I think we're at a very exciting time now with the technology getting so good, but the adoption rate isn't following as quick as it can, and I think there's a lot of just inertia in the system, and I think just the understanding and frankly having meetings like this where people share their knowledge and their experience is starting to break those barriers. So I'll sleep a little bit better after coming here, but the reality is I think it's just getting the word out that these things matter and they make a great difference.
It's going to be facilities related. What is one thing that keeps you up at night?
The one thing that keeps me up at night working in university facilities is renovation and rehabilitation of existing buildings. It's the one thing that most people don't know about and sometimes don't care about, but it's the thing that we have to worry about is the upkeep of our long-standing buildings. Those buildings have been around for 100 years, and trying to maintain them. That's the biggest thing.
Very good, thank you.
The one thing that keeps me up at night from a facilities perspective is all the things that can happen beyond the scenes for infrastructure, things that you can never really predict. We can go through life cycle costs and life cycle functions and of various components and elements of a building, but there are some things that it's deep underground or it's just hard to predict. We can kind of determine what the life cycle is, we can plan for that, but those are the things that keep me up at night from a facilities perspective.
What's one thing that keeps me up at night? Well, I have two little girls, 4 and 7, so they usually keep me up at night. In what? Oh, well, you know, I'm in sales, and so I get kept up at night by the next project. What's going to happen? What can I be involved in? And what is the next step within a specific account?
What is one thing that keeps me up at night? I would say the achievement of my personal and professional goals. A little bit hard on myself, so trying to get the most out of every day.
I think trying to determine what the future of how students are going to learn in a world that's rapidly changing, and you don't necessarily learn the same way that you did 20 years ago when you have a device that can link you to the rest of the world by a couple of taps on your phone. And what does that mean when it comes to the future of how you build a building? That's kind of what a lot of us think about every day.